Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 20th of March. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have AGL Energy, Boss Energy, Syra Resources, Metals X and Ecograph. So if you have a request, please send it through. Make sure you've signed up to the free newsletter, but our best recommendations come out on Tuesday in the Dynamic Investor Report. So please make sure you're getting that report. But if you do enjoy these videos, I'd love you to share them on social media or even leave us a review. Our main business is in portfolio management. So if you'd like to have a managed account with me, then please give me a call. And the advice here is general only. So we've got a weekly chart here of AGL, obviously a massive downtrend was going on for a while there. It has been recovering in the past few years. Just zooming in, but as we could see, it's now hitting resistance. So it's, most recently, it's been coming up to this peak here from 2023, and looking at what it's done here, we've got, some lower highs now, and a lower low. So in terms of this 1 year uptrend, that's now rolling over. So that is a negative. However, if we look at it more on a longer term timescale over the past couple of years, we could be getting basically a cup and handle sort of formation. So, what that means is we need to wait for an upside break, but this could just be a longer consolidation. And if you see a break above this line here, basically that's the buy signal. But for the moment it's rolling over, looking like it's heading lower, but if it does reverse here, breaks above that line, that's your buy signal. Boss, so what we've got is, since the start of last year, downtrend, we've got the lower highs, the lower lows. It's come back to this last major sort of breakout zone that we looked at quite a while ago. Had this sort of consolidation here. It's come back to that sort of region. What's interesting is the bullish divergence on the weekly RSI. So what I mean by that is we could see with the RSI here is where it bottomed out. And despite the share price giving us these sort of couple of new lows, it's the RSI has actually trended higher, or the share price has trended lower. So that's actually a bullish sign. It suggests we'll get a bounce. Now for something longer term, it needs to break these peaks. So I'd expect a bounce here. If it could get through these peaks in the mid threes, then you could say that it's formed a major low, and then you'd be looking for a retest of $6. Syra, so we've got this sort of downtrend here, seems to be leveling out. If we have a look at the daily chart, we could see that, especially in the past few days, it's rallied pretty hard on really good volume, so that's a positive, but it is getting close to this October high. So, likely to hit some resistance, and then we'll see what happens. If it turns around here and starts falling sharply, then it's at risk of going to a new low, but otherwise you need to see it break that October high for it to start to look a bit better longer term. Metals X, so we could see it's been a bit of time heading sideways there, very clear resistance. You had a breakout here in February, so that would have been the buy signal, and the good thing with this, if you're following it, was it actually came back and retested it on a couple of occasions. You've got this little double bottom here on top of that new support level, so you actually had a couple of chances to get in if you missed that initial breakout. Obviously heading up quite strongly now. It's hard to chase it after a big move like that, but I think it's a hold. I think it'll head higher, but you've got to run a tight stop. Potentially you could run it at this low here, and even if you were to take a bit of a risk and now buy it, just keep a pretty tight stop. You don't want to see it start to fall into this gap and drift down. Ecograph, so weekly chart, sort of massive slide here, but it looks like the downtrend's over. It's had that sort of big run up in the past couple of weeks. We could see that was that sort of previous peak. It looked like a major resistance level there near 21 cents. It's blown through that. Again, hard to chase it here because it's just gone up in a straight line. I mean, that's what it looks like on the daily, but you know, if we just stick to the weekly, you know, ideally if it can just cool off here and sit around this 21 cent region without being sold off heavily, then that would provide you, I think, with another buying opportunity. But I think you'd have to run a tight stop. As we could see, if this thing does turn around, it's had big moves in the past and it's reversed pretty sharply, so you just want to keep your stop close by. Okay, well that's all for this week. If you have a request, send it through and I'll try to cover it next Thursday.